The Lost King. In a realm of prosperity and peace, a great king prepares his young son for a destined throne. But hidden ambitions and treacherous alliances shatter the tranquility. Betrayed and assassinated, the great king's son escapes, vowing revenge. As a ruthless usurper takes the throne, oblivious to the impending doom, the exiled heart trains diligently. The stage is set for a tale of betrayal, survival, and a quest for justice. Will the shadows yield a triumphant return, or will the kingdom succumb to its imminent peril? Chapter 1: Prosperity. In a kingdom full of prosperity and peace, where everyone is happy and contented, responsible for it is the great king, whose intelligence and good heart has allowed the kingdom to prosper to unimaginable lengths. However, despite all of his prosperity and power, he refused to conquer and take other nations, because he believes that a true king should never be concerned with what he can take, but rather with what he can give. The Great King. The great king who started it all. A great man who was strong, brave, smart, and kind. But his most admirable trait was his ability to accept even his own future demise. The king realizes that his reign will end and that he will need someone to take his place in the distant future. So he trained Ludicio, his son, binding his destiny as the next king. Ludicio. Ludicio, the son of the great king, is now responsible for being the next king, and he works hard to train and study so that he can be just as good as his father, who is also a great king. However, when Ludicio was given the next title of next king, it sparked an interest in Aristlo, the great king's right-hand man, who also wanted to be the next king. Aristlo, the loyal right-hand man of the great king, a man full of envy. He wanted the throne, so he planned to wait for the king's death. But with Ludicio next on the line, his plan was ruined. He can't be the king unless he does something. The treacherous plot. Aristla devised a cunning plan in which he planned to take the matters into his own hands and kill the great king and his son in order to become the next king. However, he knew he couldn't overcome the great king alone. The treacherous alliance. So, he formed an alliance with an army from a neighboring suffering nation, promising them a prosperous life if they would let him lead them and join his scheme to assassinate the existing king. The end of a great era. They ambushed the kingdom in the middle of the night and assassinated the king. But the prince was nowhere to be found when they arrived. Survival of the fittest. The great king realized Aristoc's plan too late, so he decided to simply let his son Ludicio survive so that he could return and take what was rightfully his. The Lost King. With Ludicio barely escaping, he decided to conceal his identity and live alone in the forest, promising himself that he would reclaim his kingdom. The New King. With the great king and Ludicio announced dead, Arislo reigned as king and fulfilled his promise to the allegiance. The unforeseen fate. Arislo had no idea that the kingdom would perish if he did nothing about the kingdom's rapid population growth. Time skip. Years has passed and the kingdom's resources depleted while Arislo and his army did nothing but feast every single day. Chapter 2. The Downfall. Revolution. With the depletion of the resources, people's needs increased and the tyrannical king did nothing to address them. So, they launched a revolution led by a mysterious man. Self-exilation. The mysterious man led the revolution and exiled Arislo's army. And as an act of desperation, Arislo stated that if he gets exiled, no one would replace him as king. The mysterious man. Arislo smirked, thinking that he had won again. But then the mysterious man revealed himself to be the great king's son, Ludicio, the one that is said to be dead. The rightful owner. With Arislo and his army vanished, the prince made the decision to abolish hierarchy, after realizing that the kingdom does not belong to anyone and that everyone should be equal. With the hierarchy gone, treachery never occurred again, and the kingdom's land is thriving more than ever. But sadly, this is also how the lost king was never found. The Lost King. A story about overpopulation.